Did you know Trump once owned a car so rare that even museums begged to display it for a single night? One car in Trump's collection was so shockingly unique that engineers claimed only 3 working examples existed anywhere on Earth. So what vehicles is he still hiding today? Let's find out right now before the real story moves on without you today. Again, 10. Mercedes S600 Guard. Have you ever stopped to think about why a car built for heads of state ends up parked inside Trump's private collection? The S600 Guard comes off a restricted Mercedes production line where fewer than 100 units leave the factory in a typical year. Every part of this model goes through testing based on real attacks from the early 2000s. Why would a private buyer want something built to survive that level of force? The Guard program rises after a European security review in 2003 shows that standard VIP cars fail under high-powered rifle fire. Therefore, Mercedes responds with VR6 and VR7 protection packages, using hardened steel sections shaped in secret molds. A single door can weigh over 300 pounds. Mechanics in Stuttgart say the installation process takes more than 1,500 labor hours. Can you imagine that much work hidden under a leather interior? People inside the industry talk about Trump receiving access through a dealer who handles vehicles for diplomats. He chooses the long wheelbase version, the one with a twin-turbo V12 producing around 517 horsepower. However, the performance feels different from a normal S-Class, because the added armor pushes the total weight beyond 4.5 tons. Test drivers in 2016 say the car moves with steady force. Never rushed, always prepared for trouble. Collectors still debate why a private citizen needs a machine designed for national crises. So the trail naturally leads toward a 1950s British luxury car linked to an owner accused of hiding a scandal during the Suez fallout. 9. 1956. Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud. Want to hear something wild? In the mid-1950s, this car showed up at a time when most families still drive basic saloons. Yet a few elite buyers walk into Rolls-Royce showrooms asking for something that feels closer to quiet royalty on wheels. The Silver Cloud became that symbol in 1956. What makes this specific year feel so important? The model runs on a 4.9-liter straight-six engine that reviewers in 1956 compared to a smooth train glide in the Motor magazine. The body panels come from pressed steel, but the finishing touches rely on small teams inside the crew factory who spend hours shaping trim by hand. Therefore, no 2 cars leave the line with identical characters. Have you ever wondered how rare that level of detail feels today? Records show production for the series year reaches around 2,360 units, with far fewer surviving in original trim. Trump's example reportedly passes through a longtime collector who stores it in a temperature-controlled garage for nearly 20 years. However, the interesting twist comes from a note in a 1974 service file mentioning a brief loan to a visiting Middle Eastern diplomat. That detail makes enthusiasts curious because diplomatic loans often stay under the radar and rarely show up in paperwork. This story naturally points toward a machine built 3 decades later, one linked to a V12 that reaches 200 miles per hour during early testing in Italy, and creates debate among safety inspectors. If you're enjoying this story, give us hype for this video right now. Hit that subscribe button and drop a like so this series reaches every explorer out there. 8. Lamborghini Diablo 5T, 1997. In 1997, Lamborghini added something new to a machine already seen as wild. The Diablo 5T gets all-wheel drive, better steering, and bigger brakes. For the first time, this V12 beast can actually grip the road without trying to kill you. Why does that year change everything? Earlier Diablos struggle with stability at high speeds. Reviewers in 1993 called the rear end twitchy, especially past 100 miles per hour. So when the VT arrives, the update shocks longtime drivers. The VT stands for Vicus Traction, borrowed tech from Lamborghini's F1. Experiments that system shifts torque toward the front when the rear starts to slide. Real tests show it helps the car hold corners tighter than before. Ever tried keeping a 492 horsepower monster from spinning out? Trump's Diablo VT showed up in several car spotter forums around 2004. Photos reveal a metallic blue finish with stock OZ wheels. What makes it rare isn't just the model, it's the low production. Fewer than 400 Diablo VTs hit global roads in '97. Only a handful remain untouched with original trim and paint. This one does. But the story that raises more eyebrows is what happens 2 years later, when Lamborghini greenlights a stripped-down version for aggressive drivers and bans certain safety features from it by design. 7. Lamborghini Diablo SV 1999. Lamborghini never builds the SV for comfort. They build it for intimidation. By 1999, the Diablo SV sheds anything soft and turns into a car that forces you to respect it. Why remove features on a car that already pushes limits? The SV comes with rear-wheel drive only, on purpose. Lamborghini engineers say they want a purer experience. That means no front-wheel assistance, no electronic crutches, and no apologies. The suspension is stiffer, the seats are thinner, and the throttle response gets sharper. The 5.7-liter V12 still makes 530 horsepower, but the experience feels raw. One journalist in 2000 calls it like trying to tame an animal that doesn't care about your survival. That's not just hype. Trump's SV allegedly passes through a Miami collector before joining his lineup. The paint? Deep black with red accents. A dealership photo from 2002 shows it parked between two Ferrari's production numbers back up its rarity. Lamborghini makes just over 300 Diablo SVs worldwide, and only 100 reach the US. The model skips creature comforts. No ABS, no airbags, no traction control. Why would anyone buy that? Well, the man who orders the SV also makes an unusual call a few years later. He places a deposit on a limited-run Mercedes built with Formula One parts and a body shaped like an Aero 6. Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren, 2003. When two engineering giants team up, you expect results. But in 2003, the Mercedes-Benz SLR McLaren arrived and split opinions right down the middle. The numbers sound amazing. Carbon fiber body, 617 horsepower, 0 to 60 in under 3.8 seconds. So why do purists complain? The car's development started in the late 90s when McLaren and Mercedes began pushing toward a usable supercar. That idea turns into the SLR, built in England but sold as a Mercedes Halo model. The long nose, side exit exhausts, and swing wing doors get attention, but what's underneath matters more. A hand-built 5.4-liter supercharged V8 sends power through a 5-speed automatic, not a manual. That's where the fight begins. Enthusiasts expect a race-focused track machine. Instead, they get a fast GT cruiser that's brutally quick but heavier than rivals. Journalist in 2004 described it as a rocket with a tuxedo. Trump buys one early. Dealers confirm he selects a silver model with a red interior, one of under 2,157 built. His car appears briefly at a charity event in 2007, surrounded by security and onlookers snapping photos. Then comes the bigger twist. One of the few hand-built luxury cars in his circle turns out to be custom-ordered with no door handles at all, just a hidden latch built into the mirror. 5. Rolls-Royce Phantom, 2015. By 2015, Rolls-Royce had already spent over a decade chasing quiet perfection with the Phantom. But that year, something shifted. The Series 2 lands, sharper, stronger, and smarter. Buyers don't just want soft, they want presence. So why does Trump keep one parked and barely driven? This isn't a car you see often on the road. Rolls builds each Phantom by hand in Goodwood, England. Just 4,000 Series 2s exist between 2012 and 2016. Trump ordered his through a New York dealership in late 2014. It comes finished in classic black with polished stainless trim. The V12? Still silent at idle, but capable of pushing the 5,800-pound body past 60 in under 6 seconds. Fast for something this massive. Rolls spends $150,000 alone just refining the suspension system, working to eliminate road vibration entirely. Trump reportedly adds a custom sound system, lamb's wool rugs, and extended legroom in the rear cabin. But he rarely uses it. Staff say the car stays covered for most of the year, reserved for formal events or high-level guests. What makes this more interesting is that it's photographed only twice in public. One image, taken outside Trump Tower in 2016, shows a glimpse of the plate number that later matches a registration tied to a rare Italian-American convertible with a troubled past for Cadillac Alante, 1993. Back in 1987, Cadillac decided to challenge European luxury coupes, so they partnered with Pininfarina in Italy and launched the Alante. But by 1993, the car faded out. Sales stall? The idea felt bold, but it arrived too early. Why does Trump choose a car most people forget? Here's where it gets weird. The Alante body starts life in Turin. It's flown 4,600 miles to Detroit on specially equipped Boeing 747s, then mounted onto a Cadillac chassis. This process gets so complex, it's nicknamed the world's longest assembly line. The cost? Over $100,000 per car? When adjusted for inflation, Trump buys one from a retiring executive in 2001, drawn to its mix of story and scarcity. Only 4,670 Alantes were built in the final model year, 1993. That's the one with the Northstar 5.8, pushing 295 horsepower. The car still holds a strange spot in automotive history. Reviewers say the electronics feel decades ahead, but the handling never fully matches the looks. Trump's Alante remains mostly off the grid. It's rarely seen at his properties. But one former driver claims it was briefly shipped to Mar-a-Lago for a private guest who wanted something American but unusual. And that moment leads directly to another curious detail. One of the only early electric sports cars quietly added to the fleet 2 years later. 3. Tesla Roadster, 2008 to 2011. Most people don't remember Tesla's first car. Before the Model S, before the stock surge, before the headlines, there was the original Roadster in 2008. This little electric sports car came out swinging with over 240 miles of range. Suddenly, EVs stopped being boring. So what makes Trump buy into it? Tesla built just 2,450 Roadsters worldwide between 2008 and 2012. The first 500 sell out in under 3 weeks. Early buyers include George Clooney, Matt Damon, and a few bold names from finance. Trump reportedly picked one up in late 2010. After seeing it featured at a tech event tied to a donor gala, it's red. No decals, just clean lines, clean energy. Underneath the carbon fiber shell, the car uses a Lotus Elise chassis and an AC induction motor, capable of 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. But the torque delivery feels instant, like flipping a switch. Road testers in 2009 say the silence is creepy fast. No gears, no drama, just speed. Unlike his other cars, Trump's Tesla stays under wraps. It never appears at public events. A mechanic who serviced it in 2013 says the battery system was upgraded. An unusual move back then. That detail stands out, especially when matched with DMV records showing the next car in his collection went through 3 different owners and nearly ended up scrapped in Florida too. Ferrari F430, 2007. The Ferrari F430 hit the market in 2004 as a direct replacement for the 360 Modena, and everything about it feels sharper. More speed, more sound, more presence on the street. So why does Trump buy one and then almost never drive it? Let's start with the engine A 4.3-liter V8, developed with input from Ferrari's Formula One team. It pushes out 483 horsepower and revs to 8,500 RPM. The sound? Raw and loud, like it's always seconds away from a full sprint. The F430 also introduces Ferrari's eDiff system, adjusting torque between the rear wheels mid-corner. That technology comes straight from the F2004 F1 car. Trump's car was delivered in 2007, red with tan leather and the F1 paddle gearbox. It barely racks up 2,400 miles before heading to auction in 2017. At that point, it sells for nearly 4 times the going rate. The value jumps because of who owned it, and the fact that it's in almost new condition. No modifications, no racing history, just low mileage and clean paperwork. Then comes a strange twist. A listing document includes a delivery note with an old Mar-a-Lago address crossed out and replaced by another name tied to a special edition American sports car built for a race, but never actually raced. 1. Chevrolet Camaro Indy 500 Pass Car, 2011. In 2011, Chevrolet brought back the Pace Car Edition to honor the 100th anniversary of the Indy 500. It's loud, bright, and built to turn heads. Just 500 of them come off the line. So how does one of them end up in Trump's garage? This model comes fully loaded. 426 horsepower from a 6.2-liter V8, 6-speed manual, 6 retro stripes, and special badges. The interior gets orange accents to match the inferno orange paint. It's flashy, even parked. But most of them go straight into collections or dealerships. Barely touched, Trump's version appears in a 2012 photo taken on the edge of a golf course parking lot. It has custom floor mats, limited miles, and the original sticker still sealed in the glove box. The car's VIN matches one of the earliest builds, possibly in the first 20. That matters to collectors. What throws people off is that the pace car, while rare, feels like a strange fit. It's loud and American, but not expensive. Some say it was gifted, others think it was a short-term buy. What adds fuel to the rumor is a service record from 2015, linking this exact car to a Florida detail shop that worked on a controversial armored vehicle used in a private motorcade under a corporate shell. Every story leaves a trace, and this one is only getting started. Don't let the next chapter slip past you. Click the video on your screen right now. Thanks for watching.